Breaking news we continue to follow. Again, the president's son, Hunter Biden, has now reached a deal to plead guilty in that tax in gun case. Again, we just brought you there. Again, 2 misdemeanors for failing to pay taxes, and then also a gun charge, unlawful possession of a gun, and then also entering to go through, again, that pretrial diversion agreement, essentially keeping Hunter Biden away from jail time.
This all stems back to that investigation based in Delaware. It's been going on for years now, looking into Hunter Biden's taxes and, again, also that gun possession. Ultimately, though, pleading guilty to 2 tax misdemeanors and then also entering a probation agreement on the gun charge, if violated, would mean prosecution for illegally possessing the firearm while being a drug user. So what does this really all mean? What are the implications? With us now to weigh in, Alan Dershowitz. He's a professor emeritus at Harvard Law School. Professor, welcome, and thank you very much. We'll just start with your initial reactions to this decision to plead guilty by Hunter Biden.
Well, it's the right deal. For the 3 charges that he faced, the 2 misdemeanor failing to file on time and making a misstatement on his gun application, it's the right result. Probation and diversion program. He was addicted during the time, and so it's the right result for these allegations. The real question that people will be asking is, should this end the investigations involving Burisma and allegations involving payments of money? If this closes everything off and says no further investigation, I think there may be a problem, but the plea itself for these charges is a fair one.
Sure, but could this have gone another way? And just again, I know your background there in constitutional law, but if you looked at this in terms of the tax charge, the 2 tax charges, would that always be a misdemeanor for any American not paying their taxes on time, or is that sometimes a felony?
No, I think it's sometimes not charged at all. I think what's unique in this is that the vast majority of people who are late in paying their taxes don't get charged criminally. They get fined and charged civilly. And I don't know very many people, there may be, but I'm not aware of any, who are charged with felonies for simply being late in filing tax returns. Usually there's more to it than that. Usually that kind of plea is part of a plea bargain for something more serious because the government couldn't establish the more serious charge. But for failing to pay timely taxes when you've paid the taxes, ultimately, generally it's no worse than a misdemeanor and no worse than probation. So the deal itself doesn't seem out of the ordinary. What may seem out of the ordinary is the closing of the investigation, if that's what happened. If the investigation is now over for all the Bidens, that will raise questions among people and will probably end up in front of some congressional committee.
Well, that's what I was going to follow up on. This has been a years-long investigation over, again, these in this case, a tax misdemeanor and this gun charge as well. Talk to me, if you could, just perspective on the timing of it all. Of course, we've seen the former president face his own indictment and arraignment in recent weeks.
Yeah, well, I predicted in several columns that I wrote in several TV programs that I was on exactly this. I predicted that Hunter Biden would be indicted for relatively minor offenses and that the argument will be made that his indictment shows that the Justice Department deals equally with Republicans and Democrats. And if this is all he did, then it's a fair resolution. However, if there's more to it, and that's being covered up, as some Republicans claim, that will certainly be a subject of congressional hearings and investigations by the Republican-controlled House of Representatives.
With these questions we ask, and you said this is pretty typical of misdemeanors. Some may even not bring the charges forward. A couple of misdemeanors, and again going through that program for unlawful possession of a gun. And if it seems as simplistic as that, why would it take 5 years for this investigation to open and close? And your thoughts
I'm
there?
sure that they were investigating the other charges as well, and they came to the conclusion that there was not enough to charge. So, of course, these investigations of the misdemeanor and the gun charge could have taken 30 days. He was represented by an excellent lawyer who obviously wanted to see the entire thing resolved and close everything. And so that's probably why the investigation took so long. I do not think it's a coincidence that he gets charged shortly after former President Trump gets charged. I think there clearly is an intention to try to show equal treatment under the law, and people will have to make their own judgment whether it does. Again, these charges, these 3 charges, 2 misdemeanors and 1 probationary diversion charge, that seems right under the circumstances of the crimes that have been charged. The real question is, were there others that haven't been prosecuted and sufficiently investigated? That will be up to, I think, Congress to hold hearings and make determinations, and that will be decided also in the court of public opinion.
All right, really quickly, because we were talking about this with you here, this did come in. Chris Clark, the attorney for Hunter Biden, put out a statement telling NBC News this, quote, "With the announcement of the 2 agreements between my client, Hunter Biden, and the United States Attorney's Office for the District of Delaware, it is my understanding that the 5-year investigation into Hunter is resolved," end quote. Your reaction there, as you speculated, is this the end? Is it not? According to Chris Clark, the attorney for Hunter Biden, he says the 5-year investigation is over. Professor, your thoughts?
See what the Justice Department says. If it's over, then there should be some disclosure of why all the smoke that seems to have emanated from leaks concerning the investigation didn't constitute more than these 2 misdemeanors and one probation. That's what the question is going to be, not the deal itself. There'll be criticism of that too, but that won't be fair criticism. The valid criticism will be the last statement that Clark made, and that is that this closes all investigations regarding Hunter Biden, which means regarding President Biden as well. Look, I'm opposed to the weaponization of the criminal justice system against anybody, Republicans or Democrats. So if the evidence doesn't justify the prosecution, it's the right decision, but we have to wait and see.
Yeah, and again, this plea has nothing to do with the laptop that was associated with Hunter Biden, has nothing to do with alleged payments made to Hunter Biden. This is strictly those tax misdemeanors and that gun charge there. Professor Dershowitz, thank you so much for picking up the call. We appreciate your insight.
Thank you.
You're welcome.